Hello everyone, it's Davide here and welcome back to Learning Finance. In today's video guys, I want to do an update on the craziest stock that I have in my portfolio, which is Vuzix Corporation. Ticker symbol VUZI. I made videos about Vuzix, couple of videos back then. When I bought the stock it was below 20. I think I have an average price of $18 per share, so the stock since then has done quite well. I am up more than 60% at the moment, is just below $30 per share. Looks like we are entering another pullback phase. But if you remember back then, I told you that in my opinion has the potential to be a 10x stock. So that's why I choose that one in my speculative part of my portfolio, which is actually the only very speculative stock that I have. And in today's video, guys, I want to show you a valuation, even though it's difficult to value these kind of companies. But I want to show you what can be a case for Vuzix, why I'm bullish on it, and actually what can be a target, right, for the stock. So the only thing I ask you, as always, please another like, it's very important. I thank you for it, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new updates. Let's begin. Alright guys, so first of all, if you don't know what Vuzix is, it's a leading company, quite small company, 1.8 billion at the moment, in basically the smart glasses sector. Okay, so augmented reality. Their main target has always been the enterprise business, okay, where this technology is, let's say, more appreciated, right? Even though in the future there are trends that they are saying that could go also to the masses, the real objective of Vuzix, and where they are the leading business in doing that, is to work with enterprises. And most of all, Vuzix is not something new, right? It's not something that has been founded 1 year ago, that they don't know what they're doing. It's something that has more than 15 years of history of working in that particular sector. That's also what I like about Vuzix. Now, if you want to know more about the company, just go to check it out, the previous video that I made. Okay, so I don't repeat the same things. I made a shorter video because it looks like that YouTube doesn't like long videos. So I don't want to repeat the same stuff. It could be boring. So go to check that out. I'll leave you the link down in the description. Now on that one, what we have to update since basically 20 days ago when I made the previous one is that Vuzix increased their capital. They made another public offering. They gathered around $100 million, and the company intends to use the net proceeds from the sales of the shares of common stock for general corporate purposes, including working capital to accelerate the building of finished goods, inventory to address increasing customer demand, new technology development, new product development, purchases of technology, expansion of software offering, because remember Vuzix works both on the hardware part but also on the software part, and that's why is even more interesting in my opinion, and possible related acquisitions of other firms. Now, how do we value Vuzix? Because obviously we have seen the price literally skyrocketing higher. We don't know, right, whether it's overvalued, undervalued. Obviously, if we take a look at current revenues, the valuation is crazy, doesn't make sense. But the market is not 100% stupid, right? So if we see that increase in price, there is probably a reason behind it. This is a research on the augmented reality, global augmented reality market by Grand View Research. And they valued the global augmented reality market size as 17.67 billion in 2020, and it's forecasted to grow at 43.8% from 2021 to 2028. Compounded. So that's impressive growth, right, for the market. And we can see over there that the market is mainly based in 3 different divisions. We have head-mounted display and smart glasses, which is the one that Vuzix is working on, which is the black one. We can see is already like 65% of the total market, and it's forecasted to continue to be the biggest slice in the cake. Then we have the heads-up display, which is the blue one over there. Then handheld devices, the green one. But on average, this market is forecasted to reach totally and globally around 320 billion in 2028. So it's a huge growth over there. Look at their projections is going to go parabolic, as they say. A lot of it, so like 70%, is hardware, and then software, like 30%. Vuzix is working on both of them, and this is in 2020. We see that between the key companies' profiles, we have Google, Microsoft, Samsung, so the biggest one, obviously, Sony Corporation, then also newer one, which are startups most of the times. Then we have Vuzix over there, which in terms of enterprises is the leading business right now. Maybe there can be 15, 16, okay? But at least we don't have hundreds of competitors, and that's fair enough. We like to see that. Now, in order to understand a sort of valuation, try to imagine, if everything goes well, where Vuzix can go and why I bought the stock, basically. We have what the research said, so 17.6 billion 2020, moved forward until 2028 at a 43.8% compounded, reach 323 billion of global market, right, for the augmented reality market size. And just for a conservative assumption, considering that they are the leading business in enterprises, I took 1% of Vuzix of this market, right? So just 1%. With that, the revenue will be 3.2 billion, and then we take a look as competitor in the hardware business. Now, obviously, I didn't take direct competitors because at Vuzix you don't have a lot of those competitors with a lot of history. So I took the hardware side to just understand on average EBITDA margins and EV to EBITDA multiples, where they are at. And we can see that I have Apple, Dell, HP, Lenovo, Samsung, Sony, and this is the average EBITDA margin, 16%. This is the average EV to EBITDA multiple, 12.5x. For our valuation over there, I took 14% margin, so below average for Vuzix, and EBITDA in 2028 on 452 million, took a 15x EV to EBITDA multiple, okay? So the average is 12.5, higher than the average, but by the way, not crazy. So considering that Vuzix is pretty small, it can go on through a huge growth rate in the next few years. I think that higher than the average EBITDA makes sense. 15, nothing crazy, right? Market cap with that valuation will be almost 7 billion in 2028. Today is a 1.8. Discount rate pretty high, 15%. The market cap today will be 2.3 billion. Shares outstanding are 62 million, and basically the fair price will be that one, $37.90 per share. So that's why actually we have seen that explosion. It's not completely craziness. There is something behind it. And that's, in my opinion, why the stock popped in that particular way. It's because of the addressable market. It's because of Vuzix is the leading business in enterprises with a lot of history on their shoulders, delivering great technology that businesses looks like they like that. Now, just to make you understand how this valuation is nothing too crazy, in my opinion, the implied price to sales ratio is just 2x in 2028, right? With that market cap. So if we suppose a 4 price to sales ratio instead of that one, we just go on 4. So considering the growth that in that scenario Vuzix would have, I think that 4 is more acceptable. The market cap with that assumption would be around 13 billion. Price to sales ratio of 4 and 1% of the market implied globally, okay? So that's why basically I've invested in Vuzix without considering what they are making currently, because that is a new market that is set to explode in the next decade, right? So we are not there yet, but it's starting to take off, and that's why I decided to make the investment. Now, obviously, if you want to be more optimistic, let's say instead of a 1%, you take a 2%, even with the EBITDA scenario, a $13.5 billion market cap in 2028, and then if you consider a more speculative price to sales ratio of 4, you see that the market cap in that scenario will be almost $26 billion. So there is a room to grow. Obviously, there are many question marks. I told you many times, it's my most speculative investment. So if you don't like volatility, if you don't like the risk, if it's not for your portfolio, just stay away from it, okay? And just to make you understand how volatile this can be, I bought the first shares actually around here, okay? It was around the 19th of February, $17 or something. Then I bought more here around 20, and then just 2, 3, 4 days later, we had that market crash, right, with the interest yield going higher, and the stock came back to 12, all right? So I didn't panic. I actually bought more over there, but I mean, if you decide to be invested on that one, just mind the risks. Here it looks like we are going in this uptrend channel. It looks like that we hit the higher part of it, now probably starting a pullback. It can be the average area is around $27, and then that one is a square that I made with the Fibonacci retracement. It's between the 0.5 level and the 0.618 level, considering the previous low. So the stock can also pull back around $24 per share. But by the way, it's so volatile, it's not easy to predict where the stock can go, right? So I don't care. I will remain invested in it because the potential is there. I will continue to follow the stock, obviously. An interesting feature of the company that they have added recently is that if you want, you can order customized smart glasses, right? If you need prescription lenses, right? So they can do that as well. Pretty interesting, by the way. And then obviously here is the next gen smart glasses, which are expected to actually start the sales in the second half of 2021. So interesting times ahead. Another thing that I like is that Vuzix at the moment is not considered as a hype stock, right? If you go on YouTube, no one is talking about that. So even though the price went up already, we don't have already the craziness of a hype stock, a real hype stock, like we have seen in the past with previous businesses. So I remain bullish on that one. Obviously risky, obviously volatile, but I will continue to hold it. So it's the end of the video, guys. I hope you find it interesting. Leave me down a comment with your opinion on Vuzix. If you own the stock, if you're planning to buy, or if you don't like it, just leave a comment down below. Subscribe to the channel, guys, and as always, have a wonderful day.